Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our LinkedIn Live as we are exploring 34 innovation truths. Started last week, this week, going in for a couple more weeks going forward as well. Thank you so much for being here. I am Dirk Beveridge, founder of UnleashWD, and I am absolutely loving these conversations. So when you come in, please come on in. Let me know that you're here, please. Say hello in the comments section and let me know where you're from, how you're doing. We'll say hello, and then we will get started, everybody, okay? So come on in, let me know that you're here, and we're going to get started in exactly 2 minutes. Here we go. Good morning. Jen, you make me smile. She says, oh no, it looks like you're out of Diet Coke. Yes, that one is, but Jen, you know me. I do come prepared. So thank you. I will start right here. Jen, good morning, and thanks for taking such good care of me, making sure that I have my Diet Coke ready. Guy, good morning. Good morning, my friend. Great to see you. Real good to see you. Yeah, jury duty. Thank you for contributing to society, Guy. I hope you hung him. No, I'm teasing. Jane, hello. Great to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Yeah, it's chilly here in Chicago as well. Pam, Oklahoma is present again. I love it. Thank you for being here as always. And RJ is in the house again. Good morning to you as well. Super cool. So, guys, thanks again for being here. Those of you that are coming and joining us new here, let me just set the stage for us. We are in the process of looking at 34 innovation truths that are based on what you see on your screen. I call this my innovation manifesto. Several years ago, after writing my book, Innovate, How Successful Distributors Lead Change in Disruptive Times, I sat down and I said, what are the fundamental beliefs that came out of that research and my work with companies and the innovation that we do in our own organization? And these are the 34 fundamental truths of innovation that I believe in. And as I say, if you want to know who Dirk Beveridge is, what I believe in, these are those statements, those fundamental truths of innovation that'll lead to change, transformation, our own personal growth too, I believe, as well. So with that, we're going to look at, I believe, innovation truth number 8, and we're going to get started. If you're ready, let me know that you're ready. If you're ready, we're going to get going right now. Did I really say to Guy, I hope you hung him? I didn't mean that. All right. I I hope that you listened deliberately and made the right call as you're contributing. So, all right, I'm going to move on. So, let's take a look at today's innovation truth. All right, the truth today, innovation truth number 8 is experiment without fear. And I got to tell you something. One person I know who does that is our good friend who just came on, Ted Stark, because after 3 weeks, there is Ted with his picture and name, and he has been experimenting for 3 weeks to make that happen, and I appreciate you doing so, Ted, and being here. So, innovation truth number 8, experiment, right? Experiment without fear. The best way I can talk about this truth is to ask you all a question. Do you have a can of this in your home, in your garage? Can of WD-40? Yeah, raise your virtual hand if you do. Yeah, I think I can see everybody's hand up because my understanding is that 98% of households across this country have a can of WD-40. 98%. Amazing, right? Now here's the question. Do you know what WD-40 stands for? WD-40 was found by the WD-40 company before they had that name in San Diego many years ago when the United States Navy needed a new solvent to stop rust on their ships that were going out to sea. So they approached this chemical company in the San Diego area and said, here's what we need to happen. They needed a new water displacement formula to stop the rust on all the screws of the ships that are going out to sea. WD, water displacement. All right. Do you know what the 40 stands for? Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? Experiment without fear. The 40 stands for the 40th iteration of that formula until they found the one that worked. The 40th formula. So what does that mean? What that means is that they failed how many times? Yeah, they failed 39 times before they generated the success that they were looking for. They had to absolutely experiment without fear until they got to that end result. Pretty cool, isn't it? I think so. Yeah, so WD-40 is a great visual image for all of us to take to our organization, to take to our business, to take to our projects, if you will, relative to the mindset that's needed to drive change, transformation, and innovation. You know, I look at this, WD-40, and I think about, the projects that we have started within our organizations, the great ideas that we've had within our organizations, right? And what happens to good ideas? Well, what happens to good ideas is we go and we try something and bam, we hit a wall, right? Maybe it's a new piece of technology. Maybe it is a new process. Maybe it's a new product. Maybe it's a new initiative, Dirk, that you've got on your wall that you're looking to bring out this summer, right? And all of a sudden, the idea is brilliant. We know it's right. But as we've been talking about, it's hard. It's difficult. There are challenges. There are hurdles. And we're not going to get it right the first time. And I ask the question, in how many of our organizations, in our teams, do we have the culture built in to say it is okay, it is all right to fail 39 times before you get to the what? Conclusion. Too often, I think in our organizations, for a lot of reasons, right? For a lot of reasons, because we've got too many things going on, because of how hard it is, because of the challenge of the effort, we get to experiment number 3 and we quit. We get to experiment number 4 and say it's not possible. We get to experiment number 5 and say, you know what, we've already spent too much money on this. And for some reason, we stop the experimentation. For change, transformation, innovation, we must have the fundamental truth that we must experiment without fear. Make sense? Yeah. So, hey, absolutely, Jen says thank you. James, you've come in. Good morning, good morning. Susan, good morning to you as well. Okay, so let me show you how my mind works, how I often experiment with some of the thinking that we do here and that we put in our books, that we bring in our programs and our presentations and the like. and built around this concept of experiment like fear. One day, I had this thought that, you know what we need to do to bring this thinking of experiment without fear to our work is to maybe change the thinking a little bit to the term, how do we turn work into a learning opportunity? How do we turn work into a learning opportunity? And this, what you see on the screen right here, this is my experiment. This is how I experiment oftentimes, right? I take an idea and I start writing it out. And I say, all right, what does that mean to us in our day-to-day work if we're in sales, if we're in finance, if we're in the warehouse, if we're in the C-suite? How do we take that and apply it to what we do, our work, each and every day? And here was my initial thinking. And you see a series of dots. You see up there at about 1 o'clock, number 1, and then it moves over to the left, 11 o'clock, number 2, down at 7 o'clock, 3, and then all the way back up to 2, number 4. Right? So my thought was this: how do we turn work into a learning experience with the concept of it's okay to fail? We must experiment without fear. So the first thing I see there is I say, we must decide a course of action. What's the work that needs to be done? And we have to put, and we do, we put our best thinking into that. What we know best at that moment in time. We take all the inputs we have, we think about it, and we say, what's the work that needs to be done? What do we need to do? And we go after it. We put our best thinking in. And we have hope and we have belief that we're going to succeed because this is our absolute best effort. We believe we're going to knock it out of the park, right? And then we move from there and we start moving into action. And we start putting our talent, we bring our talent to bear. We take accountability for giving everything that we have. We have commitment to the results and to the work itself. And we absolutely work to put our best work in. Does this make sense, you guys? And then so it's the mindset, right? And then we act. And then here's the thing that I had to get over a lot, right? Because I was taught by my mentor years ago that goals are mandatory. And it's true, okay? Yeah, if you set a goal, like we said earlier, you have to commit. You have to commit. You have to be certain that it's going to get there. And goals are mandatory. But you know what? It took me a lot of years to realize you ain't going to hit the goal the first time every time. Because you're going to act, you're going to put your best work into it. And then the mindset for me of experiment without fear, number 2 on this diagram, says results are going to be what they're going to be. Other things, people, other competitors, the market, competition, customers, other people in your organization have a say in if that is going to be successful. Does that make sense? So we go into the experiment, the work, putting everything we've got into it. Don't get me wrong. We're committed as hell. But then we step back and said the results are going to be what they are going to be. And then we come down here and we assess in number 3. We assess what happened, and with the intent, we ask ourselves what happened with the intent of learning from what did happen. We assess with the intent of getting better. We assess with the intent of being able to take it to the next step. The military has something called an after-action report. And after every single mission, they get together and they assess what went well, what didn't go well, what lessons can we bring forward, right? So that's what we're doing here. And so there's another thought process along those lines about an experience transformer. Describe what we were after, what worked, what didn't work, what could we do differently, right? And so you assess it. And then from there, once you assess it, you go ahead and you put in place and you go back up and you act again. You put in place those new things. And by the way, that might circle. But at some point in time, you're going to have that breakthrough because we were able to experiment, and you'll get a new trajectory. You'll get a new trajectory of growth and improvement. And then number 4, you can look for that even next iteration. And then once you've got that success, I think where the real success of making work a learning experience is once you get that iteration that works, you share it with your peers, you share it with others in the organization, you systematize it, you put it in place as processes, if you will, and then that's the trajectory of the entire organization. Does that make sense, you guys? So that to me is a way of thinking about experiment without fear. And what you see here on the screen is my experiment with that. And then we talk about it, we socialize it, we work through it with some customers of ours. And then, right, that experiment becomes a process that we help organizations put in place and individuals put in place. And here's what that diagram, right, that you saw there ultimately comes out to look like when we bring the process to the organization. So, pretty cool, I think, right? The whole concept of experimenting without fear. Would you do me a favor? As you look at this concept that I just shared with you, experiment without fear, turn work into a learning opportunity. What goes through your mind when you hear all of those things? Yeah, so I would love to know in your comments there, okay? So one other thing that I'd love to share with this whole experiment without fear concept, all right? I think the first time, maybe the first time I actually heard of the concept was from this gentleman that you see on the screen. This is Jay Steinfeld, the founder of Blinds.com. He absolutely disrupted the entire industry of selling blinds. He moved the industry from having to be sitting at the kitchen table with you to doing it all online through e-commerce and the like, and eventually built that business from where he started it in his bathroom, he will tell you, not even his garage, in his bathroom. And then eventually, I think maybe 5 years ago, he sold it to Home Depot for over $100 million and just built an amazing organization. He was our keynote speaker at our second Unleash Innovation Summit several years ago, and just an amazing human being, and built a great organization. And one of their 5, I believe, core values of the organization that built that organization was, you see him standing above it there in that screenshot, experiment without fear. And here's how they manifested it at Blinds.com. Here you see on your screen now a picture of 3 of the marketing team at Blinds.com. And what you can kind of see over there on the left-hand side with the woman reaching over to them, what you kind of see there are 2 large vials, 2 large test tubes, okay? And to live this concept of experiment without fear, what they do at Blinds.com is they visualize every experiment that they do in marketing. And so what they do is each time they run an experiment in marketing, they take a clear marble, and they put that clear marble in the left-hand test tube, okay? Every experiment gets a clear marble in the left-hand test tube. And you can imagine all the experiments, those marbles start building up in that large test tube. And it's in the hall so that everybody can see it. And then what happens? For every experiment that succeeds, they take a colored marble and they put it in the right-hand test tube. You with me? So every experiment gets a clear one in the left. Every successful experiment gets a colored marble in the right-hand test tube. So here's my question for you. Which of those 2 test tubes has more marbles? Yeah, the left test tube with the clear ones, right? Because not every experiment is going to succeed. And so what they do is they actually tangibilize, they visualize, they take that value, that mindset, that innovation truth of experiment without fear, and they put it in the hallway so that as everybody's walking into work each day, they're seeing failure on display. And it's not really that they're seeing failure. What they're seeing is the mindset, the value that says we are going to continue to iterate and iterate and iterate and iterate and iterate and iterate and iterate. We ain't going to give up and iterate and iterate and iterate until we generate those results that we know is possible. So guys, I think this is an absolutely critical innovation truth that we can continue to bring to our organizations, because I really do believe, for a lot of reasons, right? I always talk about the 3 letters that hurt innovation change in organizations are ROI. We need an ROI right from the start. Well, that's going to kill innovation. It suggests you can't experiment. Look, bringing organizations and teams to the future is hard because you got to get to the unknown. You got to create. You got to do things that have never been done before in your organization. That's hard stuff. And so we need the mindset. We need the mindset of innovate without fear. So, guys, I hope this has been of value for you. Ted says, I love the way you diagram processes, makes it look logical, even though it's not. It ain't simple, right, Ted? Thank you. It's not. As I said, I've got the easy job, right? I've got the easy job in trying to describe this to you and catalyze, some action, and hopefully we're doing that. But I also try to live these things in my organization every day. Someday I'm going to turn around this camera so you can see what I'm iterating on right here as well. By the way, these LinkedIn Lives are an iteration, right? I'm learning as I go, man. No. I didn't mean that. Sorry, I meant to go down here. Guy says, it goes along with our core values. One team, passion for results, being two of them. I love it, buddy. Right on. One team, passion for results. And passion for results, right? The only way those results are going to happen is if you have the passion to commit to the process, right? And to commit to the learning that goes along the way. It's my interpretation there. So I really love it. Sue says, I really needed to hear this today. The fear is real and defies logic. This legitimizes the fear and puts it in the compartment where it belongs. Make it acceptable, palatable part of the process. Susan, you and I have small organizations, right? You and I have constraints of resources in a number of different ways. All businesses do, right? All teams have constraints of resources and the like. But small businesses, you and I especially, have constraints. And so that too can hold us back from experimenting, right? Because we need results and the like. So let's see here. In other words, Sue says, fear can be paralyzing. This makes it simply a necessary part of the process, right? Absolutely. And maybe, Sue, I don't know, maybe I'm going to think here, maybe if we can enhance our mindset of experiment without fear, make work a learning opportunity, maybe that can even just, if not completely obliterate the fear, minimize it, right? Because now there's a deeper meaning and purpose possibly for what we're doing there. So there you have it, you guys. Innovation truth number 8, experiment without fear. Really appreciate you being here. 2 quick announcements. I will not be here tomorrow, but I will be back on Friday. I'm actually going to be in front of another group live. Oh my gosh. I hope I have the stamina to teach for a full day in front of people live tomorrow. So that's why I'm not going to be here tomorrow. But then also, if you're around this afternoon at 3 o'clock Central Time this afternoon, I'm going to have another LinkedIn Live, and I'm going to be with Mark Dancer. Years ago, I did the first and only, at that time, research study for the state of innovation throughout distribution for the NAW. That ended up in our book, Innovate, How Successful Distributors Lead Change in Disruptive Times. That thinking and research has been built upon by the NAW and Mark Dancer in their latest book that came out about a year ago, Innovate to Dominate. And it builds upon our initial research, some great thinking in there. Mark's put out some 10 interviews that he's had with 10 distribution leaders coming out of COVID, and that's what we're going to talk about today at 3 o'clock. I'm going to interview Mark and find out what he has found out. So if you can join us 3 o'clock Central, please do that. If you're enjoying these, please help me share on LinkedIn. Share these posts. Get your friends, family, grandmother to come. I'd really would appreciate that. So super cool. So RJ says the uncomfortable is where the magic happens. Oh my God, I love it. RJ, yes, the uncomfortable is where the magic happens, right? The uncomfortable is where growth happens. The uncomfortable is where that aha moment comes, right? Where the magic happens. I absolutely love that, RJ. And Jen, super cool. You're going to be with us at 3 o'clock today. Yeah, I think it's going to be a great one. So I will see you then as well. Hey, everybody. Please, 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 let's go out. You go out, have an absolutely amazing day. Bring your light forward. Bring your passion forward. Bring yourself into this world. The world needs you. The world needs your genius. The world needs your light. Keep bringing it forward. And let's go out and let's experiment without fear. Thanks for being here, everybody. See you at 3 o'clock today and see you Friday morning. Have a great day, everybody.